Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
Here we go, baby, here we go. The Philadelphia Flyers are moving on. They're actually going to the second round. It's been so long. It's been years. It's been since 2012 since this team actually made it to the second round. Bros, wake up. Oh, wait, it's real life. This is ridiculous. I'm so pumped up. Now, it wasn't a pretty game by any means, but they continue to play this sound defense late into games, and they keep holding the Montreal Canadiens to no legit, insane, big-time scoring chances, and that is why they held off the Habs and won the game by a score of 3-2. Now, I want to touch on the Matt Niskanen and Alain Vigneault situation that occurred, before this game started. So, in Game 5, Matt Niskanen gave Gallagher a cross-check to the face. And, the Habs were definitely pushing for him to get suspended. I totally understand that, and I will be honest with you. I'm surprised that it was only a one-game suspension. When you saw the angles and when you saw what he did, it was probably a 2-3-game suspension-ish. Now, I also understand the NHL not wanting to suspend someone for Game 7 of a series. I do get that playoff hockey is a bit different when it comes to suspensions, and then I'm sure all the Canadian fans are going to say, well, look what you did to Gallagher. You knocked him out for the rest of the series, so Niskanen should be too. That's not how it works. It's just not, and I do think it was definitely suspension worthy, probably more than one game, but I get why they went with one game as well. No doubt it was suspension worthy. And what Alain Vigneault did before the game was very, very interesting to me. He was talking about what Gallagher did back in 2014 when Stepan needed that surgery due to his jaw. And Stepan was saying, oh, he sure was yapping a lot out there for having a broken jaw, yada, yada, yada. Alain Vigneault threw those words right back at Gallagher. And I was questioning, is that smart? Are you poking the bear? Now, I think it also juices up your team. It also gives the Flyers a ton of energy as well because, yo, fellas, you better back me up, right? It's almost the coach saying, look, I'm going out there and I'm saying some things. Fellas, let's go. Back me up, support me. And the way the Flyers started this game, they definitely came out hot and scoring goals. So it seemed to work. With hindsight, we see that it worked. But before the game and before the puck drop happened, I was a little concerned. Yo, Alain Vigneault, you might be poking the bear a bit, poking those Habs by chirping Gallagher, one of their best players, and throwing words at him that, he said in the past, and you're bringing it back up. I don't know. I don't know if I would have went down that road, but Alain Vigneault, and I've said this so many damn times, but it is reality, he has pushed the right buttons so many times. Who am I to question him at this moment? It seems like everything he dials up has been effective. Now, in terms of losing Matt Niskanen, I thought that it was going to be a big-time difference maker, and it was a big-time difference maker. Ivan Provorov is who he is this season because of Matt Niskanen. This team, the structure defensively, is so sound because of Matt Niskanen. But the Flyers did a hell of a job without him, and I was impressed with the way that this team played defensively later in the game. Now, I want this team to produce more offensively. I wonder if it looked the way that it did because of the matchup, because of the speed, because of the way that the Habs play, where carefree hockey, they came in as a 12 seed, they're just there playing, competing hard, and the Flyers had a tough matchup with them. Maybe that's why it looked the way that it did, but I will say it's not getting any easier when you have to play someone like Barry Trotz and the Islanders system, because they play one hell of a defensive scheme as well, and it's going to be tough to create a lot of opportunities. You see the second period, and you're thinking, come on, fellas, let's throw some pucks on net. Let's throw some shots on net. Let's literally put the biscuit on Carey Price, because there's no way of scoring if you don't do that. And I'm just underwhelmed at times with the way the offense flows, but the way that they are committed to the defensive zone, it's insane. They blocked 21 shots. They only took 17 shots. That just shows you the commitment level to the D-core and to the offense as well. Of course, the wingers have to get out to their points and block biscuits too. But this D-core, I was very impressed without Matt Niskanen. You saw some juggling shuffling around. Shayne Gostisbehere did a tremendous job getting thrown into the lineup. You see AV moving lines around, trying to get guys going and feeling things out. I thought he did what he needed to do in terms of making sure that that decor was the best that it possibly could be in this tilt. This episode of Sports Talk with Broads, by the way, is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. And with over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, they are home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. They also provide not just solar energy systems, but water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, tree removals, emergency services, and way more. So make sure you visit their website. Their information is in the description. So the way that this started off, 30 seconds in, you got a draw in the O-zone. Provorov throws a puck on net. I thought TK might have had a little redirection in there. It keeps saying Ivan Provorov on the website is the goal scorer, so at this time, we will go with Ivan Provorov. Look, you get on the board first. This team thrives when they score first. That's one of the reasons why this team wins hockey games. They score first, and then from there, they play this defensive system where, they are strong, and it's hard for opponents to get grade A scoring chances. Getting on the board early for this group of guys, it's so important. And to see them fly out just like that, 30 seconds in, it gave me a breath of fresh air. I feel like I do that way too much. And when you look at the way that some of these games played out, the way Montreal started in certain games, they were flying, they were buzzing, they had the Flyers on their heels. The Flyers looked lost in the D zone, while the Habs moving the puck up, cycling the puck down low, or just getting their forecheck on the Flyers defenseman. There were many games where the way the Canadiens came out, you were concerned, thinking, that team looks like they're ready to go. It looks like they have an extra step on the Flyers. But seeing the way they scored so early in this game, it allowed me to breathe a bit because it seemed, okay, hold on, the Flyers seem to come out of the tunnel really hot and playing the type of hockey that they are going to need if they are going to come out victorious. And I did feel comfortable about the win. After last game, I put up the post-game podcast, and I claimed that I'm pretty confident they're going to get the job done. I am really confident that Carter Hart would play stellar, that this team would be mentally prepared properly, that Alain Vigneault, am I for real right now? Get it together. Get it together. Alain Vigneault was going to make sure that this team closes it out before it goes to 7. And he did that, by the way. He did do that. 5 minutes in, Kevin Hayes rips the biscuit on net after Grant throws a nice pass in front. Hits off some bodies, hits off of a Canadian, and goes in on Carey Price. So what do you know? The first couple minutes, you have shots from certain areas where Kevin Hayes shot the puck is a primetime chance, but he did have some help by it getting deflected and getting redirected and going in the net. The reason why I'm bringing up these two first goals, and I want to highlight them, you have an Ivan Provorov shot that gets traffic in front. Did it hit TK? Did it not hit TK? Whatever, it goes in the net. You have this goal where you're throwing a puck on net. It gets redirected. It goes in. Throw the puck on net more. Let's get more pucks on net. I feel like there's so many more times that this Flyers team can actually throw the shot on net. Shoot the biscuit, dude. Put it on. Who cares if it's not the best chance in the world? You gotta have more pucks on the goalies, and this is something I'm going to be looking for when it comes to the Islanders series. Is this just because of the Canadiens, or is this the way the Flyers are going to play? I don't know if they are going to be able to get by with not throwing pucks on net in the next series, because the way that this team is so structured that they're going to be playing, it's going to be so tough to wait for just elite scoring chances. You won't get enough elite scoring chances to just thrive off of those. And it's not like their power play is clicking, so it's not like you can settle for some power play goals either, because once again, they have a bad performance and they went 0 for 4 on the peeper. Couple good chances. There was one where JVR was left open and he didn't bury, and there was one where Gostisbehere comes out of the corner and somewhat walks in front of the net and rips one on Carey Price, but they weren't able to execute in those chances. The power play is going to have to be stronger. But the Flyers did have a 2-0 lead within about 5 minutes of the hockey game, and that made me happy without a doubt. Until Suzuki scored on the power play, he's in the blue paint, and he's shoving a rebound home. He's chilling there right in front of Carter Hart. The puck makes it through. Bang, he puts it in right past Hat, and the Habs cut the lead in half, 2-1. Now, I love the fact that the Flyers in the second period came out really flying to the point where here's Travis Konechny on a breakaway, and he doesn't even get anything going. It was not a good attempt at all, and you can see him frustrated as he turns around to head the other way. He puts his head up in the air, thinking, are you kidding me, TK? How do you do that? He's talking to himself. TK, how do you do that? He's got to be able to score on that spot. Imagine making it a 3-1 game at that point. It's a big-time difference. Now, ultimately, the Flyers do that, and this play was sick, and I mean that in a good way. It all starts with Raffl, who is in the D zone, making a stellar defensive play, and busts his ass all the way to the blue paint on the other side, right in front of Carey Price, as here's Kevin Hayes, who joins the... I'm sorry, not Kevin Hayes. Travis Sanheim, who joins the rush, gets the puck in the high slot area, and rips it, and it hits off Raffl and goes in. But it all starts with that D zone. It all starts with what Michael Raffl did by that defensive effort. And then as soon as he makes the play that he needs to defensively, he's headed in the other direction and he's working hard to go to the net, and he puts his head down, he puts his nose down, he skates as fast as possible. And that generates so much ice for this Flyers team. That allows them to enter the zone, use the space as the high guy, bring it back to Travis Sanheim, and he puts a puck on net, and it ends up getting a nice bounce for the Flyers, and it went in. Ding, ding, ding. Did something go off in your head yet? Let's start making sure we throw more pucks on net. It's pretty damn simple. You can go through all of the goals this series. And besides Jake Voracek's handful of goals on the power play, and specifically Game 5, right? Let's look at Game 5 and their goals. Let's throw that out the window on the power play, and let's look at majority of the goals scored throughout the other games in this series. They're all wonky. They're not pretty. This is playoff hockey. They're not going to be insane, beautiful goals all the time. More times than not, it's going to be something ugly and greasy. So let's do it. It just frustrates me that there are periods where I get they want to really commit to that D zone and they want to commit to what they're doing, but I feel like they're leaving moments out there that they need to take advantage of too. I would be stunned if this method works against the Islanders. I really would be. The only way it does work is if the Flyers are going to hold on to 1-0 leads. And I can't imagine Carter Hart just posting that many shutouts consistently, even though he did put on another great display in this game. Carter Hart is unreal. And to see him do the handshake afterwards with Carey Price, what a special moment, knowing how much that he really praises Carey Price and looked up to Carey Price his entire goalie career, if you will. Suzuki scores 1 minute later after that play by the Flyers, and it bothered me because as soon as you scored the goal, as soon as you were able to net one and take that 2-goal lead back, you instantly give one up. You got to be better. How many times do we have to go through this? A shift after a goal is so important. A couple shifts after a goal. That sets the tone. That sets the momentum. That allows teams to be able to thrive off of what just happened. You score a goal, you should be able to create more energy as soon as you take the 2-goal lead. You can't allow them to come right back. And Suzuki, who's had a hell of a playoff series, he's wide open backdoor on the backside, and he puts one on Carter Hart on a weird angle, and it goes in. Now, do I like the way that all played out? No. I thought that there was a breakdown that allowed Suzuki to be on that backside so wide open, and I didn't like how he scored from that angle, but there was a bit of a D-zone breakdown that I think that they could have done a better job defending. As much as I praised their defense and praised their shot blocking, I think that they could have been stronger in that specific moment. And in the third period from there, Carter Hart was just what Carter Hart is and came up with some big-time saves. Support for Sports Talk with Broads, by the way, is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. You know what the worst is? When you cut yourself, when you're shaving, because you want to make sure everything is nice downstairs. You're going to the bar. You're going on a nice date. You never know what's going to happen afterwards. You want to make sure you're clean down there. You don't want to be cut or miss any spots. You don't have to worry about that with the Lawnmower 3.0. Because of Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology and the ceramic blade, you won't cut yourself. You could take this in the shower. There's a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. Not only that, how about the LED lights so you don't miss anything? That's right, the LED lights, you won't miss a spot. If you are listening to me right now, you need to experience this firsthand. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code BROD. JVR made the lineup, by the way. I know I mentioned him earlier in one of those power play spots, but JVR did make the lineup, and I thought that was interesting because Alain Vigneault clearly has it out for him, and he's not someone that normally does make the lineup. I think that at this point he seems to be more of one of the guys out than the guys in. There's something about his game that Alain Vigneault has not liked throughout this series, and I've been pretty serious with this thought of mine that he's not utilized properly and he shouldn't be hanging around that third, fourth line. I think with the struggles of this team, and I get he's not the fastest skater in the world, but he has the ability to score goals. I think with where this team is right now and not being able to score so many goals, and with the fact that you're moving around all these lines, why not give him a chance to play more second line minutes or things of that nature? If he's playing with top dogs more, will he be able to produce more? What if he plays with a Sean Couturier? If he plays with a Voracek? If he plays with a Claude Giroux? Will that allow him to play with more confidence and play with better players to the point where he will be able to produce more? And I think it's worth a try because it's not as if Scott Laughton and Travis Konechny are providing so much offensive power for this team right now. At what point is it worth a shot? I don't know. I just don't think that he's totally utilized the right way, and it's just weird. But he did make the lineup in this game over Connor Bunnaman, and I thought Connor Bunnaman did fine in this series, but I prefer JVR because I think this team needs some help when it comes to scoring the biscuit, right? I mean, it's not like they're just offensive threats throughout the postseason so far, but that's the style they want to play, and I find that interesting when it comes to how the fans feel about this team. It's almost as if we're a bit underwhelmed with how it went down. Not so much with the Habs being involved, because I think the Habs are a tough team to play against. They're fast. They're playing with freedom. Even though they were a 12th seed, and you can look at their record and what they did throughout the regular season before coming into the bubble and playing in the qualifying round, they're a tough team to play against. They really are. That speed is no joke. That might be the fastest speed the Flyers see in this playoff run if they continue to go forward until a really long time. That speed is very underrated, and it's strong, and it causes the defensemen to make a ton of mistakes because they're on you quick. They're on you fast. They're making sure their stick is on puck and hitting the body. So they're a tough team to play against. I'm not discrediting the Montreal Canadiens. I'm giving them a lot of praise for their work ethic in this one. And I'm not discrediting the Flyers either for taking this to 6. It's not embarrassing to take this to 6 because of who the Canadiens are. But I feel people are underwhelmed with how it looked, and I have so many questions about how it looked. The only way I'll have the answers is by seeing the way that they play against the Islanders. Basing how they play off the Islanders is what's going to tell me who this team really is for a playoff run. This is somewhat of how Alain Vigneault works. This is somewhat of how his style has always been played. So you might have to get used to a very boring style. I just don't know if that's the nature of playing this Canadiens team or if things will open up a little bit against the Islanders, because the Islanders, they wait for the right moment. They wait for the right moment to attack. They have weapons like Barzell, but the way that they play defense, they really do suffocate you, and then when they have that opportunity, boom, they go. Boom, they make it happen. Boom, they attack. And I think they do it at a better level than the Flyers do, and I like what Alain Vigneault has done to this point. But Barry Trotz is one hell of a hockey coach. Barry Trotz has won a Stanley Cup. Alain Vigneault's been to the Stanley Cup a couple times. been to Game 7 with Vancouver and lost to the Boston Bruins, so he's been there. And he has shown that he can get there. Barry Trotz did it. And this scheme with the Islanders, it's scary. And I don't know right now where I stand with the Flyers. I haven't really been able to let it sink in yet on how I feel this series is going to play out. And before the first game on Monday night, I will, of course, have a prediction podcast and go over the matchup and go over what I think is going to go down. As of right now, I'm just too happy and excited about what we just witnessed with this series win. So it was ugly. It wasn't the prettiest thing in the world. I would say sloppy hockey at times, but also structured hockey and committed hockey. And they played the way that they needed to play, and when you have the goaltender to do it, you can play this way, and it will work. You just question, okay, now you have more weapons with the Islanders. Will it work against a team like that? I like the way that they came out, and then they did what they've done all series long when they won hockey games. They went back in their own zone. They stayed true to what they knew, and they accomplished the goal. They won in 6. Should be no shame. Carter Hart, the kid's legit. Every single game, I have a bigger smile on my face knowing that 79 is going to be in between the pipes for a long damn time here. Really exciting stuff, for real. To see this Flyers team get their first series win since 2012, to see the Phillies blow up, to see the Sixers really blow up, for this team to make it to the second round, I think it's very important for this city right now. And at this point, look, they won a round, and I think that's really big. Whatever happens from here, don't get me wrong. Would I be upset if they lose? Sure. I'm not going to be happy if they lose by any means, but I'm just enjoying the ride. It depends how it all plays out. Of course, context matters, but I think winning that first round is a true, real first step because Carter Hart is so young. This is so good when it comes to experience for him in postseason hockey. These young guns, Scott Laughton, Travis Konechny, Ivan Provorov, these players, they're going to be here for a long time. They need to experience this type of playoff run so then they can use that to help themselves grow. Someone like Scott Laughton who's been struggling, he needs to use this playoff moment for him to be able to grow because he hasn't been good enough. Same with Travis Konechny. Hasn't been good enough. They need to utilize this for their development. Travis Sanheim, Phil Myers, I'm impressed by them. They need to continue to work. Did they make some mistakes? Sure. Everyone will. But they need to continue to work. Let's learn from these big-time playoff moments. Going up against Barry Trotz in the playoffs for these players, that's a big-time learning situation for the future of their professional careers. I'm intrigued by that. I really am. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk about the matchups more. I'm impressed with the 3-2 win. I would like more offense. I think they have to counter more. Okay, I do. I think they need to counter more and generate more offensively. I don't know if this style will work long-term because I don't think they're getting enough chances. I do feel they have to take a little bit more of some gambles offensively if they're going to want to produce more because they can't rely, and let me restate this, they can't rely on their power play, so something has to happen elsewhere for them to produce. So when is that going to be if they continue to play on their heels? Good news, though. Flyers are advancing. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.